Alright guys, what is up? And today I'm coming at you with a bit of a discussion video. I normally don't do these, but I kind of want to start doing these more. Just because I think that some of these debate videos are really interesting to hear what everybody else has to say on the matter. But this one's going to be a bit of a ban list prediction slash discussion video, because normally whenever a new ban list comes out, I do a reaction video, and I plan on doing that whenever the new one comes out. I'm going to start trying to do these videos where I talk about cards I think should go on and come off the ban list, kind of like the ban list banters that Kisame and Spidey do over there on X Underground Members X, where basically I'll pick a card, or I'll pick two cards. One card that should come off the ban list that's either limited or semi-limited or banned, and what its new placement should be, whether it should go to 2 or 3 or whatever. And then pick one card that should be banned, that isn't banned. And also there's another card I want to talk about in this video, which I'll get into later. But the one card I think should go onto the ban list is Majesty's Fiend. Now hear me out before this, before you start commenting in the comment section down below saying, oh, this card's not ban worthy, da da da. Let me tell you why I think this card should be banned. If it does get banned, okay. If it doesn't get banned, okay. But the reason I think this card should be banned is because it is a searchable floodgate that only takes 1 tribute to summon. Now, in most cases, floodgate cards like, say, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Naturia Beast, I know those aren't exactly great examples, but the only floodgates that are exactly banned right now are Djinn Releaser of Rituals. Looking on my banned cards right here to see what else banned. Royal Oppression, Imperial Order, and Time Seal. If you want to consider Time Seal that, but Royal Oppression, Imperial Order, and what is it? What's his name? Djinn Releaser Rituals. Now, the reason Royal Oppression and Imperial Order were banned is because they're really, really old cards, and they were banned back in the format when the format was too slow. And those cards promoted an unhealthy playstyle of just locking out your opponent. And the reason Djinn Releaser Rituals was banned is for a couple of reasons. Is that people who played it in Necros, they oriented their deck towards summoning that card, or ritual summoning with that card, and just essentially locking their opponent out of playing, especially in the mirror match. Same thing with Cleafort Towers. People played cards in their decks just basically, or they sided or even main cards just to out that one card just because it promoted such an unhealthy playstyle. And then the reason I think Majesty's Fiend should be banned, because like I said, it is a searchable floodgate in Monarchs, because you can activate Return of the Monarchs. And then wherever you tribute summon monster, you can activate the first effect, where you can add from your deck to your hand one monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense with a different name from the tribute summon monster. And then second effect, it says add from your deck to your hand one monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense with a different name from the tribute summon monster. And then the tribute summon monster must be faced on the field to activate and resolve this effect. You can activate one Return of the Monarch's effect per turn. So the first effect is whenever you tribute summon a monster, you can search a monster 2400 attack and 1000 defense. Look at the attack and defense of Majesty's Fiend. And his effect states he can't be special summoned, monster effects cannot be activated. And in case you guys haven't noticed, monster effects are they play a really, really important factor in this game. They always have. But in most cases, floodgates, they don't really get banned just because they're bad for the game. But in the original case of Imperial Order and Royal Oppression, it's back in slower formats where those cards were a very, very big problem. Same with Vanity's Emptiness, where that card got limited after getting its mass reprint in the Secret Forces. Now, Majesty's Fiend, this card, like I said, it is searchable by Return of the Monarchs. Plus, on top of that, this card is insanely easy to get, where basically anybody that wants to play Monarchs can go out and get this card for around $2. Or it's actually that easy to get because it's a promo in the Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon Megaton. So this card, let me just kind of re-elaborate. It's a floodgate that is searchable by Return of the Monarchs. Very, very easy to get on the field. Locks out the majority of stuff in the game. And also this card was super, super easy to get. If it was still just a secret rare out of Primal Origin, I wouldn't mind this card as much, but because this card is insanely available to basically anyone, and it's a floodgate that is searchable by Return of the Monarchs, and locks out, I'd say, about roughly 80% of cards in the game right now, because this format, of course, there's pendulum effects, there's just random spell cards, but monster effects play a pretty big, important role in the game, and this card essentially locks them out, and that's the reason I think this card should be banned, is because it's very, very easily available, and it's searchable, and super, super easy to get on the field. So that's why I think Majesty's Fiend should be the card that should be banned, in my opinion. Now, the card I think should come off the ban list is a card that is now limited, but I think should come back to 2 just as a test, and if it doesn't do much, to bring it back to 3. And that card is Inzektor Dragonfly. Now, one of the reasons I think they should try and test Inzektor Dragonfly back to 2 instead of 1 is, in case you guys haven't noticed, in recent years, Konami's been kind of slowly bringing back power cards off of older top decks. An older example is Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind, because Blackwings used to be one of the best decks whenever they came out, way back in the 5Ds era, and then that card eventually got limited to 1, and then Blackwings kind of fell off the grid, and people still play them every once in a while just for fun. And then later on, with the release of the Legendary Collection 5Ds, they brought Gale back to 2, and then immediately that next ban list brought it back to 3, and then people started playing more Blackwings, because they used to be the top deck, or one of the top decks, and slowly bring back their power card just to test and see if the cards would do anything. And that didn't really do much. Another, or 2 more good examples, is with this previous ban list, where they brought back Spellbook of Fate. I'm pretty sure is what it is. It's the one where you have to, like, banish 3 to banish 1 card on your opponent's battlefield, something like that. It's the one that recently got brought back to 3. And then Legendary Six Samurai Shien. In case you guys didn't know, Spellbooks and both Six Samurais both used to be some of the best decks back in their prime, and Six Samurais eventually sending Shien to 1 and Gateway being banned, and that's what really killed the deck. And then Spellbooks, they ended up limiting Spellbook of Fate and banning Spellbook of Judgment. And then later on, like I said on this previous ban list, they brought back Legendary Six Samurai Shien to 3. And then they brought Spellbook of Fate back to 3 just to test them out. And so far, the decks are seeing a little bit of play, but not a whole lot in the competitive scene. And that's one of the reasons I think Inzektor Dragonfly should come back to 1, at least for now, just to test it out and see how well Inzektors do with 2 Dragonfly. And also, if it doesn't do anything, maybe test that out at 3, or bring Hornet back to 2. And then if the deck doesn't really do anything in the competitive scene or in any major events, just slowly give the deck back more of its power cards, Dragonfly and Hornet. And then if the cards are deemed too powerful, then just reban them, kind of like they did with Snatch Steal about a year ago, around the beginning of the Necros format, where Konami decided to bring back, get it real quick. Konami decided to bring back Snatch Steal as a test to see if this card was still broken or not. And it was legal for a format, and this card, like back in the day, was still an insanely overpowered card, just taking one of their monsters basically for free, just for really no cost, and just being able to beat them down with it, kind of eliminating the whole drawback of giving them 1,000 life points during each of her standby phases. But like the name implies, Snatch Steal actually stole games, like playing at local tournaments. Whenever somebody dropped this card, they basically stole the game from you just because of how powerful this card was, and then Konami immediately rebanned it. So that's one of the reasons, that's the reason I think, or the 2 reasons I think Dragonfly should come back to 2, is to follow the trend that Konami's been doing of bringing back older top tier decks to see if they're still as good as they used to be, or if they've just been power creeped out, and then you can just kind of gradually give them more back of their power. And then if they're still too good, then just put them back in their original place. And those are the 2 cards I think should kind of be played around with on the ban list. Bring Dragonfly back to 2, and ban Majesty's Fiend. Now the next card I want to talk about is a really interesting card that shot up in price fairly recently, and I don't actually have one to show you guys because I did pull one but sold it to a friend that was using it in a deck. And that card is Mist Valley Apex Avion. I had to pull a picture on my phone. But the reason I think this card, or the reason I want to talk about this card, is because I don't think this card should be banned, but I think it should get an errata. If you don't know what this card does, its effect states, when an effect is activated, you can select one face-up Mist Valley card you control. Return that Mist Valley card to its owner's hand, negate the activation, and destroy the card whose effect was activated. So anytime you activate a card effect, you just return Apex Avion back to your hand and negate it for literally that cost. And people play it in Pendulum decks, specifically Odd Eyes Magician, where they Pendulum summon it out, and then if they try to activate something, you just bounce back Avion and negate it, and you're basically negating something for free once every turn, as long as you can keep your scales alive, which isn't really that hard to do, because they do have Sky Iris, which protects their scales, as long as it's on the field, and then Pendulum Call, which protects their scales for a turn. And this card, the reason I think they should errata is kind of go along with, like what they did with Black Horn of Heaven, where you can just negate any kind of special summon for free. And then they routed it to where you can only negate one special summon monster. But I think what they should do with Apex Avion is route it to where you have to return a Mist Valley monster control other than Apex Avion to negate it. That way it doesn't hurt anybody that's playing Mist Valleys for fun, because it's like their main power card. Just because one of the top deck, or one of the more competitive decks per se, is abusing it. Because negating something for free is just really, really unfair, in my opinion. And just, you can just keep doing it over and over and over every turn, just negate something just by bouncing your card back. Just by targeting itself and returning it. It's just really, really dumb. But yeah, those are the two cards I think they should play around with on the ban list. And hopefully do something about Apex Avion, just because I really, really hate playing against this card. Because it's just really, really hard to stop unless you have a breakthrough skill set, then you're kind of screwed, because more than often they're going to use its effect to return it back to the hand during your turn, so Effect Veiler doesn't really work because you can only Effect Veiler during your opponent's turn. So yeah, that's basically it for my little ban list discussion video, and I will be doing a reaction video once the list comes out. But yeah, those are the three cards I wanted to talk about in this video today. But let me know what you think in the comments section down below, what cards you think they should ban, and what cards should come off, or if there's another card you want to talk about. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. If I get some good feedback on this video, then I will keep doing more videos like this, just because I think it's really, really fun and really interesting to do these kinds of debate videos, to see what other people think on the matter. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, give me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and as always, I will catch you guys later.